Why, hello. I know by some standards, people are interested in the pod A, so we will bring one. A little bit late. That's okay. Season is rocking and rolling, and we want to talk about it, right? So figured we'd go a little recap, see where people are standing, see what things are looking like, and then we'll kind of look into the next week's matchup. So we know how this rolls. We'll share the screen. Let's rock. All right, so let's take a peek at the standings here, and you know, it's looking like it usually does, with some teams at the top, some teams at the bottom. But hey, we have a team Nate at the top of the heap. Look ahead. It lost its first game this week thanks to a dominant performance by the Save Me Bucky boys. Um, you know. But Team Bucher seems to be running away with things a little bit in regards to points for. I know it's early, 25 points doesn't seem like a lot, but this can compound, and might be able to take this by 100 by the end of the year. His team looks really strong. Njoku in the tight end spot a little soft, but all in all, with Judkins, a surgeon says an RB1 and a very legitimate scorer. I think that kind of negates any sort of tight end issues he has. Mike finding himself near the top, and Mind Goblin very quietly. Usually he's very loud when it comes to being on top. But he's got a pretty solid squad here, a lot of touchdowns going on. Jamar Chase is scary, right? Rome Odunze has been a phenomenal player. James Cook, all he does is score. Tucker Kraft on the bench, and Hawkinson's been terrible. So Tucker Kraft's died at one. Really strong roster here. Waddle should be a much larger presence now that Tyreek. So this is a legitimate championship roster here. Jalen Hurts, all he does is push, and score touchdowns and win football games. It's not the prettiest sight, not the most lucrative stats, but any Eagles fan will tell you they'll take what Mr. 255, as some call him, do. So yeah, really strong roster here by Wazinski. Not sure why we're rostering Will Shipley, but that's not really my problem. All right. So team name, we'll do a quick peek. Guy doesn't get the top of the leaderboard much. Let's give him a little bit of love, right? Really strong performances from the roster. Jonathan Taylor really set the tone, and Javante have been really, really strong starters and kind of set the tone. Metcalf's getting a lot of jump balls from Aaron Rodgers, and Justin Jefferson seems to be getting fed with Carl Wentz. So we'll see what that looks like long run wise when McCarthy comes back. But yeah, and Kelsey's been pretty solid, hit or miss. Not what he used to be, but still formidable. And really strong roster here again. Wan'Dale Robinson on the bench again, same kind of thing. Neighbors is gone. What does that look like for him? Does he find his way into that flex spot? The Raiders do seem to lose a lot of games, so Jacoby Myers is getting a lot of opportunity as well. So really strong roster there. And then just highlight one more guy here who's 3-1. Again, kind of led by the tough bye week. Bijan obviously is kind of emerging as that guy, and that we all thought and kind of knew he was this year. Nothing on this team really comes off to you as like, oh my God, this is a fantastic roster, but it's just a bunch of really, and Amon Ra probably doesn't fit that mold either, but really strong team. Uh, missed the fact that Jalen Warren was out last week. I know it's a late announcement for the London game. Doesn't matter. Gets zero there. Puts up a monster score, 136, and gets a win. So really strong team. Really good start for him. And we got a lot of 2-2s here. Really, really interesting. I always like to use points for as the barometer, right? Kind of let you know where things are. And we got the brothers down here at the bottom, kind of representing the issues going on here. So Jay Pizzle obviously crushed by injuries. Certainly has hurt his team a lot. Uh, this is Ryan. We'll talk about Ryan first. Also hit with injuries. So yeah, because he lost, let's see. Well, Lamar's doubtful, Aaron Jones on IR. And, starting Trey Tucker, I know he had that huge week a few weeks ago, but week in, week out consistently, I don't think so. Chase Brown really struggling with no Burrow. Really unfortunate. Kamara starting to lose snaps. Uh, it's just a lot here that's kind of moving the wrong direction. Obviously, Jameson, really good player. Brian Thomas Jr., really bad start to the year. Cooper Kupp was nothing like he was. So kind of a lot of washed players here and a lot of guys underperforming for what they typically do that are in their prime. So yeah, I just think this team's not in a good position. He does have to win two championships though, so I think anybody would trade two championships in 5 years for a couple down years. And then we'll look at Pizzle's squad real quick. Talk about injuries. Joe Burrow on IR really sets the tone as his keeper. The emergence of Cam Skattebo could be a saver here for him a little bit. I think he's got a pretty decent all-in-all roster. Nothing that blows you away. Saquon obviously good, not off to the amazing play that he was at last year with 2,000 yards. The Burrow loss really hurts. T. Higgins is useless. A lot of unproductive players on the bench, really. Uh, Still a formidable team. You should have to bring your A game to get a win against these guys. They should put up a good fight, especially with again Scatterboo kind of being that guy, right? So I think he looks good personally. But yeah, so those are kind of some of the struggling teams. So I'll say a lot to say. Outside of Ryan, I really feel like this league is in a strong position to move forward. But yeah, I don't. It's tough to say, right? It's so early. So many things can change. A lot of injuries have happened already this year, so we'll see how that impacts things. But it should be fun. I mean, everyone besides the two prices are above 50% chances to make the playoffs, right? Obviously, that can't happen, but should be competitive and fun, right? So let's go back to the scoreboard real quick. Look at last week, just kind of chat about a few things. So, um, you know, I just had a monster week. 170 is a ridiculous score. Team Coleman did the same thing. Nate put up a really strong fight in a loss, so I think a really formidable team for the rest of the year. Should be a contender. Myself, I'm not so sure about my team. Just kind of one of those weeks. Coleman gets his first win of the year in a convincing fashion. Again, a roster that's very, um, what's the word? A little limited, but has some potential, right? I know he's trying to make some trades from the rumor mill. I got some texts about it sitting there right now, actually. Anyway, we'll move on from that. So, Risky Dipper avoids the issue with Warren starting, gets a win convincingly thanks to the power of Bijan Robinson and Bo Nix finally looking good again. So good win there, Mike. The Milkman gets to 2-2, ties Ed down to 2-2 as well. Good things happen when you have Josh Allen on your fantasy team. He usually puts up good scores. I'm surprised it's only 27 against the Saints. But strong win, 115 there, gets it done. Close game here between Mind Goblin and the Rock Boys. Again, Mind Goblin's got a lot of really strong players getting touchdowns right now. Roma Dunze and James Cook has certainly lived up to that extension that he has signed. I was skeptical about him moving forward. I'm a big Ray Davis fan, but clearly James Cook is the bell cow there, will be there all year and years to come. So no issues there at all. The final one here. Let's see. Yeah, so George versus Nick here. Nick gets a win. Really strong team again. Really good performance. McCaffrey's been fantastic. Oh, this is probably one of his worst games, honestly, and he still put up 23. Puka's been on another planet as far as catching football. Scored a touchdown for the first time this year. So I mean that's going to carry you, and obviously the Lions defense they're putting up scores. So we'll look at week 5. Do the best we can. Take a quick peek at predictions. All right. So obviously Milkman's got Golden on bye. And so who's going to go in there? That's a good question. Probably, if I had to guess, he's just going to pick Rashid Shaheed for that. Um, I like my roster moving forward. We got to look at Bucky's injury. Don't know what that looks like. Obviously, got to see if Purdy's going to go. If not, Indiana Jones will be slotting in there for the start against the Raiders. But Bucky being injured would be a huge issue for me, I think, moving forward. I have some guys that I could slot in, but Bucky being out would certainly be a big detriment to my team. That being said, I think I can still take care of business against the Milkman this week. That being said, also Nico Collins might end up putting 50 up on the Ravens defense, so we shall see. And Achane should have a nice day against Carolina. So, this projection probably is a little closer than what it feels like, but I still give my team the chance to win after putting up 170. I feel pretty good about my chances and some of my matchups. So, oh, they fixed that this year. Nice. It didn't work at all last year. Cool. All right, so we got Team Coleman versus Team Nate. Um, Team Nate, let's see, what's got some bye week issues. So he's going to slot in probably Wandale, I'd assume, and then what's he got a kick out to pick up a kicker. So he'll be protected to win this game, and I think that's probably reasonable. Just looking at Tyler's situation here. I do like some of his matchups. Hampton and May stand out. Sutton and Philly is going to be tough. Going to be on Guantanamo Bay. Going to be tough to beat that. Addison against Cleveland in London. I don't want any part of that. Um, Tet against Miami. That should be fine. Just what Bryce Young shows up is really the question, right? So a lot of bye week issues there for Team Coleman. I think it's a close game though. But I do like what I see from Team Nate this year. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, 22-point projection is insane. Who would have thought that last few years? Good for you for keeping your guy. And yeah, Jet defense is bad. So I could see Javante having a nice day. And uh, we'll see who starts at quarterback for the Vikings. I assume it's going to be Wentz. Um, but yeah, Justin Jefferson should get targeted a lot. Wandale should get targeted a lot. For those reasons and the opportunities that will present themselves, Team Nate will get the win here, is my thought. So we got, oh, here we go. Someone's either getting buried in the basement. Well, one of them's getting buried in the basement, right? Can speak timeout real quick. We had a tie in a 10th. We have 10ths in our league as far as decimals go. That is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So it really kind of hinders Ryan, especially with the 0-3 mark. Um, if it comes down to having wins, he is obviously not in a good position there. But if he's able to kind of right the ship and it comes down to the loss column as far as the tiebreaker goes, obviously he's in a good position for that. So we'll see, but also not too off to a great start in that regard. That all being said, just taking a peek at this. Yeah, I mean, this should be. Oh, where's Ryan got? Ryan doesn't have any subs to make, does he? Lamar's not going to play, so that really hurts. Against Cincy, that was probably good for Jared Goff. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really inspiring about this Ryan team. Nick Chubb might have a billion yards rushing, but they like Woody Marks a lot, so kind of loses some target share there as far as rushing attempts go. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to say about this two-time team other than they've won two championships. But I think Pizzle, he's been trying to make moves like he always does. We know how that goes. The guy splashes around the pot. Really wanted Jordan Mason for me. Then Aaron Jones got hurt, so thankfully that kind of saved me from making a trade that I would have probably regretted. So yeah, I mean, both these teams aren't in a great position, but I just think the overall talent level and the negative downtrends of a lot of Ryan's roster is going to lead to a Jay Pizzle win to get to 2-3. We have Mon Goblin versus Risky Dipper. Obviously, if Doomsday's going to get out there, Worthy's probably going to get to nod. And then Mike's got his roster ready to rock and roll, looks like. Yeah, Antonio Gibson is my starting running back. Yeah, that's not great. Kind of hurts with the bye week here, not having Bijan for Mike. Unfortunate timing as far as the matchup getting a team that's inept, or not inept, I should say, that's having a good year. I can't, college degree's not working, sorry. But yeah, I think Wazinski probably gets a win here. Projection's going to balloon up to, 115, 116 with Worthy in there. And yeah, I just think it's just kind of one of those weeks that Mike probably already chalked up as a loss with no Bijan, as he is the um, tone setter of this squad. So yeah, just kind of one of those bye week get bad spots kind of situation. So Wazinski gets a win here, moves to 4-1. A Team Nate versus Team Wazinski would be quite a fun championship game. If I'm just objectively looking at it, two teams that have either been at the very bottom or at the very top. There's not much in between there, but Wazinski live and winning games is quite the man of texting and intrigue as far as what he likes to say. So, I'm for it. We could use a little bit of that. I know some people clamor for he who shall not be named to be brought back, but someone needs to fill the mantle and you know talk a little shit. I think that's fine. But yeah, I think Wazinski is certainly a candidate to be that guy this year. So. Well, we got George versus Ed here in matchups. Any bad buys? Not really for Ed. Um, Not really for George either. So pretty full teams here. Both 2-2, looking desperate for a win. So this is projected to be tight. I think it will be tight. We'll obviously see what the Ricky Pearsall injury situation looks like. Um, Woody Marks on the bench. I could certainly see him being slotted into a flex spot, especially if Pearsall's out, Marv slides up, and so I think that's probably a good stash for Ed, and I think he's probably gonna be a guy that's gonna be in the starting lineup pretty pretty soon. I would say, and then kind of looking at George, it's gonna rise. You know, gonna depend on these running backs. I think is the big thing. Derrick Henry clearly hasn't been the player other than week one that we probably anticipated him being. I think a lot of that has to do with some of the play calling and just the overall ineptitude of the Ravens, but that's a whole nother conversation. Monty's just touchdown dependent. Gibbs gets a lot of the love there and gets a lot of the breakaways, receptions. Uh, I think it's just one of those guys that obviously he can put up 40. Houston's defense isn't very good, but no Lamar, big problem. They can stuff the box. Cooper Kush is not beating you over the top. So I think Henry's probably just kind of a bad week with no Lamar there. So with that all being said, I think Ed gets a win here. Close game. I could see it. I could see it going either way, but I really feel like Ed just probably has a better matchup. Kyler should have a nice day against Tennessee. Dak's been playing great. That I just think it comes down to kind of the running backs and the discrepancy, and um, you know, just overall where I could see a win for George is if Benson and Pearsall are both out, then I think Ed's in kind of a weird situation because obviously not Travion Henderson and Hunter aren't guys you really want to start yet. Obviously, Tesla has not been anything, and so you're a little limited if that's the case if they're both out. But if one of them plays, I think he'll be okay. So last game here, we got Team Bucher versus the Rock Boys. The Rock Boys not having Lamb clearly hurts. So he's their best player. Brees Hall's been okay. No Swift this week, so who's going in? Probably Travis Etienne, who's been very good. I'm not sure why he's been on the bench, but yeah, good player. So I think that's good, so a lot of these guys are starting. I think Zay Flowers, it's really gonna struggle. Obviously, Tyreek's done too. Jeez, yeah. So Debo slots up there, so you need to replace. Yeah, so Waller maybe. Yeah, not good. So looking at Nick's team, yeah, just pretty much just better players up and down the entirety of the roster. I'm stupid for not taking JSN when I had the opportunity to do so, and I took Lad McConkey. Um, I'll let that speak for itself. I don't see anyone really beating this Bucher team for the rest of the year. Fields is running, McCaffrey catching, and just doing what he does. Kyron's been fine. Quinshon Judkins has emerged as a guy. I could see him taking Kyron's job, especially when Rashee Rice comes back for that flex position. So tight end clearly an issue for this team. Could address that, could not. I don't think it matters. I think this is clear cut the best team in the league from top to bottom. Even the bench is strong. Yeah, I just think this is going to be a bloodbath. Sorry, Josh. I know I always crap on your team. Happening again here, but I think it's less of a you issue, and I think it's more of a pure domination standpoint. So that all being said, I have myself. What did I say? Team Coleman, or no? I don't remember. Team Nate. Sorry, Team Nate. Uh, I had Pizzle, Wazinski, Ed, and Nick. getting wins. Obviously, the others getting losses. That is my opinion. Sorry about it. So yeah, that's really all I got for you. Tried to keep it as short and sweet as possible. I'll put out more of these if people want them. I'm open to having guests again if people want that. Just let me know.